chair that's in the studio. I guess part of my practice has been just working on objects, you know, in the studio, still lives and things that are in the studio I find can be really good subject matter as well. I'd always been around a lot of creative people because my dad is a writer. I'm not really settled unless I'm trying new things with my work, you know. That's just the nature of how I think, I guess. So whatever the form is that I'm working in, I'm always kind of pushing to the next thing in a sense, and that could be very difficult because it keeps your work sort of like on the edge, and maybe sometimes it doesn't take on a solid form where people or somebody looking in can say, you know, this is what my work looks like. You know, my work has looked like different things at different times. I've been making these paintings or playing around with old colonial architecture and stuff like that. So this is a kind of construction, which I like to call it a construction. It's not really painting a house or any particular building, but just sort of using parts of buildings and putting them together to sort of make something else, really, to construct some kind of other image. And in this one, I am combining it with human components as well. Just when I left Martinique and came back here, I remember going through quite a period of real kind of frustration with my work, you know, where I couldn't really make anything interesting that I thought was interesting. I was trying to make paintings and they weren't really working out. And that lasted quite a long time, you know, about 2 years. And it was only when I started to, you know, cut my work up and, you know, just take a whole different, and I might have started to cut things up in frustration almost, but sometimes, you know, a kind of outburst like that could lead to something in a sense. And it led to these sort of tapestry-like paintings or wall hangings that I made in the 90s. And now I can see, you know, how like I put boards together and I kind of construct images out of several surfaces, and even though it's a bit more of a stable form now, I can see how that has come back into my work now. But like I was telling you earlier, I work much more slowly than I ever worked. You know, I tended to work quite quickly and impulsively before, because I sometimes trusted that as, you know, maybe a more true, less hesitant way to work, you know. But I think hesitation is good in work as well, you know. You know, that slowness can work in your favor as well. But time is very, very necessary for me now to make a painting that I'm satisfied with. I need to let it sit for a while, I need to look at it, I need to go through a long period, just, you know, letting it exist, and then I see kind of where I stand. Generally when I'm painting, I do 2 paintings or sometimes 3 of a subject, you know. So I wouldn't make one, because I find if I make one painting and I get stuck, you know, to move forward, I find it very difficult. So I like to have another one I could sort of like be more free with or care less about. Well, at least in my head, but that helps me sometimes unlock a block with a particular piece. The interesting thing with most, or the thing that I think one needs to look at when you're talking about a kind of creative process, is that a lot of things aren't planned, and, you know, you're not even conscious that you're doing certain things when you're doing them. That's the kind of nice thing about art. It's very free association that starts to happen. I tend not to try to figure out my process too much. I like to be engaged in it, but I don't try to figure it out, like, why am I doing this, or, you know I'm doing it, I know I feel like this is where this is pushing me. I think I trust that a lot more than you know, understanding why. You know, using the 4 panels, for example, that evolved slowly. I didn't wake up one day and start to do it, you know, and which is, even for me, I'm always a little bit more confident that something is really my expression if it's a slow build towards it rather than something that just kind of came on, I just woke up one day and decided to do this. So it's I can see the progression, and if I go back into the work, I can see the progression when I started to join things together. All the things that I had done, for maybe 4 or 5 years before, all that became the raw material for me to build these new things. I didn't cut everything out, but I took the paintings off the stretchers. I remember that very specifically. And actually, when you go back into that work now and you look at them, you can see the line that is left when they were stretched, and I took that off. So all that became part of the work. And then I would join other parts of paintings with it. I also started sewing these little plastic sort of pouches with objects inside of it on the surface. They're really, for me, really cool paintings for that time, but it was a kind of liberating body of work, very, very liberating. Still Lives has come back into my work because I feel that simple objects or simple scenes sometimes are the most difficult things to turn into something special. If you use dramatic subject matter, there's already drama in the subject matter. So I find if I tackle just painting simple objects, it's a longer, more focused process for you to bring something out of that, to sort of like tap into some sort of energy of this thing's existence and your existence. It's a slower process. Over the last several years, I've been doing a lot of things with the body. A lot of my paintings start with performances. I use my own body a lot, and most of the figure work that I have comes from actual performances and movement, and I find that has been a very exciting component of my work, meaning that I'm not so removed from the subject anymore. I'm not looking at a person or just I can act out something, so it connects me with a subject more.